Let us see how you can create flows from WM Manager. Go to WhatsApp official API section and click on the three dots and click on WM Manager. This will automatically take you to the appropriate WhatsApp account of the particular number. Now, in the left hand side menu, go to Message Templates. Click on Create a Template. It is not necessary that you send the flows via a template message, but Meta has presently given a drag and drop UI to create the flows only when you create a template. So let us utilize that. Select the marketing option, select the option as form, enter a template name, select a language, click on continue. Now enter a body. So this can be any random text because you're actually going to utilize the flow in your bot or automation and in a session message. So we are actually not going to use this, so it can be anything. Enter an example content. In the button text, enter the name as maybe submit. Now select a form type and we can have an option of register for an event and click on create. So if you select a particular different types of form, you will get some predefined layouts which can be useful for you. So from here you can basically design your entire flow. So let me create this particular flow to possibly take a quiz from the user. So let me write this as question 1, and in the heading I am writing and so I will delete the body option, and in the single choice I'll delete it once. Let me keep the button as next question. Now let me add another field. It can be selection, so it can be drop down, single choice or opt-in. Let me give option of radio buttons to the user. You can define if the question is mandatory or not. Now let me add another screen. The button would be possibly next question, and in the content, so this is the default field I think it added. I'll have a small heading. So again I'm selecting the option of in the label itself I've added the question, what is your age, and then I'll add another screen that can be the third screen, question 3. Let me delete the label, and in this I'm putting the option as submit. And then so you can check all of your various screens here and then click on save. Once your flow has been saved, simply submit the template for approval. Now, as soon as your template has been submitted, we will be able to see in the left hand side menu there is a flows option, and we will be able to see the new flow which is created by Meta. So if you're a developer, you can also hard code the flow, but if you're not a developer, it is better to use the drag and drop UI to easily create the flow. Now let us go to the bot builder at our end. So before going to the bot builder, we need to create few custom fields. So there are 4 custom fields required. One to save the output of each, save the answer of each question block, as well as whenever a flow is submitted, Meta gives you a JSON response of the flow. So we'll require 4 custom fields. So the very first can be flow response. So I'm creating this in the CRM, and then the remaining 3 can be Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay, so we have 4 custom fields created. Now I'll go to the bot builder and create a new bot flow. The very first thing is always to name the bot. So I'm naming it as trigger the bot. It can be based on your requirement. I'm using the hot keyword. If the incoming message is flow test 2, in the next step, I'm asking the user a question. Now flow is always a question because there are certain screens that user has to answer. So in the question, there's option of interactive flow. Now this becomes a session message by default. So you can reply this in the body. Hey, name is basically the user's WhatsApp name. Welcome to our quiz. Click below button to start. Now flow mode is published or draft. So if you're a developer creating the flow via coding, you can test the flow before publishing it, because published flows cannot be edited. So right now, as we have created the flow via the template editor, it has to be published. Now the flow ID, we will get it from the WA manager. Here we have this flow ID mentioned. So we need this particular flow ID to be pasted here. Flow token, it is basically a unique token. I'm selecting the option of VABA. So basically each time a user calls it, so in the token we'll get the user's WhatsApp number, and the button can be start quiz. Flow will be navigate or data exchange. So data exchange is our infrastructure wherein the flows can work with real-time data sync. We plan to launch it very soon. As of now, you need to use the navigate. So these are basically static flows. In the screen ID, you need to go to your flows, and here from which screen do you want the flow to start. So we want to start it with the survey screen. So it is case sensitive. So you need to ensure that you have the screen ID correctly entered. And where do you want to save the response? So the flow JSON, we want to store it in the flow response option. And the expected answer type is flow, and then save. So as soon as the user triggers the bot, the flow will, the message will be sent with the flow. And let me save the workflow and let me enable it. And as soon as the user replies to the flow or submits the flow, we'll get the data in the custom field. So let me do a small test run and show you the same. Always remember to enable the flow. Actually, you also need to, so after you have done or set the first step, you need to trigger the flow from your mobile phone and get the sample data in the custom field. That is required to divide the answer in various custom fields from the flow. Just give me a minute. I'm completing the flow from the mobile phone. Now once I have submitted it inside the mobile, I can go to the CRM contacts page and I can check that the flow JSON is received here. That is, the flow response is received here. Now the meta actually gives the response in a JSON format, but we want it in separate columns or separate custom fields so we can analyze the user response easily. So you need to click on add automation app in the next step, search for JSON. So this will basically extract JSON from the string that Meta has given. Click on extract JSON. From the CRM, go to the general details of your test contact number, copy the chat UID and paste it here. And in the JSON string, let us map flow response custom field. So this will basically get the flow response custom field data from the particular contact, which will help us to build the automation or the bot further. Now we have the output here. In the output, we can see that all of the answers are now divided into 3 separate values. Now in the next step, we will use the option of save variable value. Now the question 1 answer we are going to save as question 1, question 2 as again 2, and question 3 as question 3, and then save. And then save workflows. Now as soon as the user sends the hot keyword, the bot would send the flow message, user submits the flow message, the data will get saved in the flow response custom field. That data is extracted and then it gets saved individually in each custom field. Now you can export the contacts from the CRM and have a proper data set of user replies based on different columns. Thank you.